The more you try to keep me down and keep my head above the water, you can never hold me down. The more you try to block me out, that's where I kick the wall down. You can never hold me back. The more you try to put me out, the more I'll be blazing, it's too hot. The more you try to put me in the dirt, increase my work, the expert. You see the hunger in the eyes of a survivor. Swallowed my pride, washed down with some saliva. Reinvented my whole life, mental MacGyver. One door shut, another open up wider. Listen, battle drums in the distance.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Pinecase Mental Health and Music. It's another, I was going to say Tuesday, but it's actually a Thursday evening. Listen, Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy 2026. Tonight we were hanging out with Cyphersick, Don Sicko. Hello, my guy. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out with us. Like little us up in Canada, way up north. Listen, when we have this... these dudes that keep coming from down there, I'm like, I don't know what's happening down there right now, but you guys are tapped in. Like, you guys are tapped into the culture. You guys are tapped into the shows. There's live things happening all the time. You guys are out there supporting each other. And I'm like, this feels like hip hop again. This feels like what it was always meant to feel like, right? I don't know, there was a little bump there for a bit, but you guys are like doing what fundamentally needs to be done for the industry. And I said this to King Handsome when he's here. I said this, I've said this to many people because we're so blessed with the good guests. But, you guys, as a mom, I'm so honored to have you guys out there making music for the kids and making music for us and making music for the people and for the culture again. So thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight.
Oh, no. Again, thank you for having me. Thank you for that amazing intro. You just killed it. I couldn't have said anything bad about anything you just said. I love it. I love the energy. I love the vibe. I was a fan of the show from King Handsome. So I know you had him on. So that was a really dope episode. And then I watched a couple others with a few other guests that you had. And I'm like, yeah, I really want to be a part of this. So again, I'm just as excited to be here as you are to be here with me. So thank you.
Amazing. So take us back to the beginning, because, the thing that kind of popped out was like hiatus. And that's not really something people put near them very often, because it kind of comes with this like negative sort of thing, or like it's like, oh, you just got to take a break in life, so it's not necessarily a hiatus. But in the industry, that comes with like some intention behind it. So take me back to before that and like what got us to that point.
Well, I mean, ultimately, like music for me was like my therapy before I actually went to actual therapy. It was just like before I even realized what it was doing for me, it kind of just like grabbed a hold of me, because music's been around me my whole life. But even like from when I was a kid, like growing up in church and being like in the choir and being a part of like the youth ministry and stuff like that, to just being around music at school, because I had a lot of friends that even at a young age, they rapped and were really into hip hop even before I started like really gravitating to it. So I was always like musical influences around me in a lot of different parts of my life. But I also went to a performing arts school, in the area that I grew up in on 43rd. And it was just one of those situations where like I kind of was molded for this without even realizing what was happening. And I was already processing like, or at least I feel like now I was already processing like different traumas and different stresses that I didn't really understand. Like I had anxiety for a long time. I never knew what it was. So I was just going through different things. And music was helping me process that stuff in a positive way, even before I fully grasped, like, man, I think I'm going to do this. I think this is what I want to do with my life. I think I want to make a career out of this. I think I also want to make this a thing that's going to help other people the way that it's helping me. So it started with all of that. And then eventually I just leaned into it heavy. I think I was like 14 years old. It was like right before my freshman year in high school. I decided, like, you know what? Let me sit down and actually try to write a rap. Because I helped some of my friends, like I said, they rapped before me. Like they had been rapping since like 8, 9 years old. And I just to be around them, listening to them rapping, helping them come up with some like concepts every now and then. But I wasn't a rapper. I didn't know how to count bars. I had never wrote a verse, nothing like that. But I think I had did like other creative writings, like poetry and stuff like that. So I think it was kind of like a transferable skill. And I just had to really tap into the culture, really understand what I was doing. So once I wrote my first 16 bars, I kept going. I never stopped after that. And it's been like 20 plus years later. But leading up to the hiatus, what basically happened was I was with an independent label pretty quickly here in Chicago. Well, in Chicago, it's called L.I.F.E Entertainment. I got signed with them when I was about 16, 17. And I actually had an agent that connected me with that label like when I was like 15, and that was all from me networking. That was from me really jumping out here in the field trying to find and manifest the thing that I wanted to make my dream real. And I knew it was possible. I just had to figure it out. Like there were so many proofs of concept, all the dope artists and legends that were in Chicago that were accessible to us, and these are like major stars, or even the underground guys that we all just knew because we were in the hood. So I was like, I know it's attainable because I've seen it. So let me go out here and try to actually make it happen. So me getting into it the way I did, I kind of got exposed to a lot really fast. And I had some really great experiences. I learned a lot of dope stuff that I still use to this day as an artist. But I also went through some things that were very traumatic for me with my label, feeling like I wasn't really being utilized properly, kind of basically being a bench player, an enhancement talent, there to, kind of feature on some of their stuff, but not really get the same push or the same, resources put behind me. Like a lot of music's being recorded, but it's not necessarily being, marketed and pushed like other people on the label. And I was the youngest guy there. So it was a lot of different variables, but eventually it came to a head maybe a few years later where I just left the label. We parted ways over just a lot of differences that we had. And that kind of broke me. That kind of like really broke my heart and hurt me. Like, to be totally honest, like that hurt my feelings. And it was just like, I didn't know how to feel about it except to fall into like a deep depression over it. And that's kind of what prompted the hiatus, because my mind was like so screwed up over this thing that I love and all the blood, sweat, and tears and time I poured into it. And having these people who I thought had my best interest in mind, and just finding out years of my life I feel like had got wasted. But ultimately, I think it was a learning experience, and it was God's plan, because look at where I'm at now and what I'm doing now. And I think if I hadn't experienced that, I may not have had the same experience.
Well, first of all, congratulations for making it through that, because not everybody does, right? You know what I mean? Sometimes, depression is something that's talked about like really casually all the time, but it has serious consequences if you don't understand what it is and how to deal with it. So first of all, I just want to say thank you for being here in like a bigger way. The other thing too, before we move on with like your successes, like, so what's interesting to me is anxiety is one of those things that people always, I hear, oh, I don't feel very good, or my stomach hurts, or my stomach's bugging me or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, that's like you trying to explain to me that you have anxiety. Like things get overlooked all the time, right? And we like, sweep things under the rugs because they can look like other things. So I find it fascinating that you're able to like identify that and then be able to utilize that like later on, or like find solutions for that later on. But yeah, you were something you said earlier, and I was just like, oh, I want to draw attention to that, because I'm always hearing like, oh, my stomach hurts. And I'm like, yeah, that's like full-blown anxiety, darling. Like, yeah.
It manifests physically in a lot of different ways for different people. Like for me, it was kind of like, it was a couple of different things. Like I used to have this really profound experience when I was younger, where it was like, if I felt like my feelings were hurt, like, I mean, like profoundly hurt, like somebody broke my heart, like from like a romantic situation or a really bad fallout with a family member, like something that was really impactful for me, it was like this very cold feeling that I would get like right up in my upper chest area, not necessarily by my heart, but just like that surrounding area. And it would just be really cold. And it was like almost like somebody was taking like a really small, very thin, like stalagmite or something, and just slightly poking it into me in this area. It used to happen all the time. Like I felt it on multiple occasions when like certain things would happen, and I never understood what that feeling was. It was so strange. It was such a weird thing, because only thing I knew, it was tied to my emotional. It was an emotional response, like definitely, but I didn't understand what was the trigger for it, or what was causing it, or why it was it's like so profound. Like it felt like I was really in pain, but I don't think I was actually in pain. I just think that was like a mental thing, or maybe it was like mind over matter. I really don't know, but I just know I experienced it, and that was deep for me. So I think that was one early case of me kind of figuring it out. And then later in life, it was also because when I decided to I wanted to go to therapy, I just didn't have the money at that time to afford it, and my insurance wouldn't cover it. I was just trying to find ways to self-reflect and see what can I do to better myself. What techniques can I use? Can meditation work for me? Obviously, I'm an avid marijuana smoker, but that only works to a certain extent, but that's still mixed into the ritual. But I always try to find other things, like other outlets that were positive, or other things that could just kind of help me see things from a different perspective, so I didn't always see the worst in situations. Because I always felt like if my mind was negative, or my mind focused on the negative, rather, my body was going to respond in kind. And I think that's what a big part of what anxiety is. It's like just a physiological response to like this intense, profound emotion that's tied to pain, or just, distress or discomfort.
Yeah, well, it's a fear response, right? It's like showing you that whatever is happening, and there could be good stress, but what you're talking about right now is like the bad stress, and it's like that's showing you that whatever's happening, that you need to remove yourself as like a safety mechanism. And the physical feelings that you're feeling, like what I'm learning right now, is it's actually a change in your hormones. And so, like for some people, that hormone may cause like a tightening in the chest, like so that muscle like contraction can actually feel like, and I haven't had like the cold sensation, but I've had like the like 2x4 on my bones sensation. I don't know if that makes sense, but and so in the same
pressure,
that pressure, yeah, exactly. And I would almost maybe like relinquish that to like a temperature if I had to really think about it hard. But yeah, and that's why I preach it all the time. I'm like, smiling doesn't have to be genuine in order to have the same effect. Are you going to genuinely smile all the time? No, but can you do this one simple thing that's going to help you? Like, artificial laughing and artificial smiling actually produces the same hormones, the same happiness, the same sensation. You can use it. It's like a quick one. Meditating is another really great one, but the smiling one is like, doesn't cost you anything. You don't have to like look crazy doing it. You don't have to excuse yourself. All you have to do is smile. And they say that they're contagious, but it actually creates like an endorphin release, which then you can like move on with your day. And so, yeah, people don't acknowledge that enough though, and you get these people that go down these like rabbit holes of discomfort, and then the discomfort becomes the symptom, right? And it's like, no, that's a side effect. Like, that's actually not the problem. You got to deal with something else. Like, there's something else happening, much like drug addiction or alcoholism or whatever. It's like that's a byproduct of an underlying issue that you need to address. So yeah,
all substance abuse is like that. Like I've never had a situation where like I had to go to rehab or anything, thankfully, but I've definitely had like times where I like self-medicated, in different ways, just to try to cope with stresses, with traumas, with really for me it was always bad memories. Bad memories kind of like was always the source of most of my traumatic responses and things like that. Like, even if I lashed out, is because something would happen with someone new that reminded me of something that happened in the past. And it wouldn't even necessarily be like me automatically thinking like, oh, you're just like this person, or you're going to do this, because we do that sometimes as well. It's more so like I'm almost having a flashback, like instantaneously I'm back in that moment that's not now but then, and it's just a different person but the exact same scenario. So it's like this weird deja vu that turns into a me lashing out. So once I started to like really be aware of that, I'm like, yo, I need to find a way to kind of reel that in and rein that in, because trying to fight against it is going to be more difficult. I just need to find a way of understanding what's happening and how to manage it more, so is what I'm saying. So I agree with what you said about the smiling thing, even if it's like just an artificial smile, mainly because it sounds cliche, but cliches are cliches for a reason. It does take less muscles to smile. It takes more muscles rather to frown than to smile. So it's like, once I really thought about that and rationalized that in my mind, I'm like, yo, I'm working harder to walk around stone faced, grilling, mean mugging, ice grilling everybody all day because I'm just mad at life, or I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or I don't have as much money as I would like to have, or I can't eat what I want to eat today, or I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to eat today. Like, these are just things that happen, and we don't like them. They're uncomfortable, and we obviously want to find solutions for them. But I just feel like there's people who have nothing and they're happy. And the fact that I've seen that, and I know that's possible. And I've also seen people who've had the same traumatic experience, like they've lost people. Some people lose someone close to them and it literally destroys them. Like they have the hardest time getting their life and reality back on the rails, because that person was like such a pillar in their life. They were so important to them that they don't even know how to go on for the longest time, if they ever recover. But I've also seen people lose people that were very important to them to that same level, and they kept going. It was uncomfortable. They still went through pain. I feel like I'm one of those people. Like, I've lost people that some other people I know, if they lost those people, like my mom or my grandmother, or, one of my best friends, or just anybody, like some of those people would lose their minds and never recover because they wouldn't find a way. I'm just grateful that God gave me the opportunity to find a way, like for me to be like, okay, you know what? Let me do what I can do right now till I get my money straight. Then once I got a little bit more resource, let's go to therapy. And then 5 years later, you have the version of me that you're talking to today.
Whoa, there's so much to unpack there. Yeah. So what's fascinating is that you like use examples around you, and I'm not even like to try to talk at you, but I just adore you to death, because a lot of people don't even acknowledge the people near them, right? And you're like, there's people in my neighborhood that were making it, I can do it. There's people near me that like dealt with trauma, and so I know that I can survive this. And like, so be able to like identify that and be like, I know I can do that because my neighbor can do that, because this dude can do that, because this woman can do that. I can see that, so I can do it. I think it's just like a super powerful tool, right? Like that's a massive superpower to be able to utilize to get to the next space. Using substances is like such a loaded conversation, because everyone automatically assumes that it means addiction, and that's not the truth. First of all, we have a whole bunch of friends that are Cali sober up in this bitch all the motherfucking time. So like, like you do what you got to do to make yourself comfortable and get on, because life is not always easy. And then like some of these things used to be like an actual party without it being like a death sentence. There was a time where you could like, partake and then like walk away from it. Unfortunately, that's not so true anymore. But that's us medicating, man. Like, listen, I couldn't afford therapy either. I couldn't afford much, but sometimes that little bit of getaway would allow me to get through that PTSD, which is actually what you were describing a few minutes ago when you're talking about like people reminding you of people, right? Like, but growing up, we didn't have any way to identify that, or no one would tell us that. The only way we kind of knew it existed was like, World War II vets or something. So it never felt like it applied to me. It never felt like it applied to like the people around me. So like it couldn't have been, I didn't do nothing like that, so it couldn't be me. But it's true, like a lot of kids that grew up, a lot of people that grew up like that. That's what that is. That's what that looks like. And so yeah, that's wild.
I mean, my PTSD too was like on multiple fronts, and I don't think that's unique. I think a lot of people, like you just said, just to piggyback, I think a lot of people experience this. Like you have PTSDs that come from being in the streets or just growing up in, neighborhoods that are below the deficit, the hood, the ghetto, the streets, whatever you want to call it. All the names are for the same thing. When you grow up in these areas, like a lot of people I know do, there's a lot of different things you're going to be exposed to. You're definitely going to be exposed to drugs, whether you use them or see somebody else using them or see somebody selling them. Like you said, you got to do what you got to do. I've definitely, before I had my first official job, I definitely used to sell drugs. I've talked about that in multiple interviews. I talk about it in my music mainly because it's not like a glorification thing. I remember vividly never wanting to do any of the things that I ended up doing, but it was all situational. And then I remember feeling bad and kind of hating myself, because I'm like, how did you allow yourself to become something that you used to say was stupid or something that you used to look down on? Like, I literally used to be like, why are these guys out here in the corner like selling drugs? Like, for what? And this is like before I had experienced things in life that leaned me into that direction. So even that in and of itself was a trauma, because it was like, I was forced to do something and adapt to something that I never wanted to do. And then I kind of had to lean into liking it, kind of had to lean into being good at it. I had to lean into making it a success, because this is how I was generating money to feed myself, because I was homeless and taking care of myself. You see what I'm saying? So it's an interesting thing. And then you also have the traumas that you get from family, because how do you end up in situations like that? There's a lot of ways. My particular story was like, I kind of, after my grandma passed away, who raised me, my mom died when I was young, but probably like 9. So my grandma raised me even when she was alive. But by the time I got to 16, she passed away. And at that point, I ended up back in the system. Luckily, the foster family I ended up with was people that I actually knew, who were kind of basically family anyway, because their grandmother was best friends with my grandmother. So they were like extended family, not blood, but blood doesn't make you family, it just makes you related. So I'm forever grateful to them, but they didn't know how to handle me. They did the best they could, and they did a great job. But it was like, I was like a total wild card, because just imagine my entire world kind of came crumbling down. And now I'm forced into a lot of different scenarios and forced to do things that for years I was like, there's no way I'm ever going to have to do something like that. So, you just never know. You never know what cards life will deal you and what effect that might have on you long term. I'm just grateful that I made it through to that. Like you said, I'm glad to be here. I'm a suicide survivor. You know what I'm saying? A lot of those things made me suicidal. And there were many years of my life that was something I dealt with. That's what the substance abuse came from, popping pills and drinking lean and having insomnia. So it's like I'm up anyway, so I might as well be up and be high, That was just the way it was. And then it was kind of numbing me in a sense to a lot of those pains that I had to face every day. Living a lifestyle I never really wanted to live, but I just kind of had to adapt to it because of my environment and my circumstances.
Oh yeah, I fully convinced myself that like if it wasn't for people trapping, that we wouldn't have a luxury economy. And I actually don't not believe that today, to be honest. I'm not saying that like, that's a great way to represent mental health and recovery and all that stuff. However, like we're living in a space right now where like our governments don't really care all that much. And I don't really want to go down that way. But if it's true to so many people, if this is so many people's reality, then this isn't a family situation. This is it's a federal situation, which it is. Yeah. And so to the point where like our luxury economy comes from people out there trapping. Those people go out for dinner. That money goes back. People are getting their nails done, their hair done. The tips go back into the nail techs and the hair tech or the hairdressers and everybody, right? And then the waitresses, they make that extra little bit of coin, and then that money goes to the local grocers. Like that is. For some spaces that actually is the economy, right? And our government hasn't done anything to like step in and actually like revolutionize anything. And so yeah, there was a time in my life, like I said, it hasn't, I don't know if I don't not believe it now, but it's like where I really had to justify it, not only for myself, but like for the thing, the people around me. Again, like, shout out to you for being a supporter and also for advocating for it, because those things aren't easy and we're expected to like navigate them and then just like move on, right? It's like, oh yeah, that's unfortunate, but now you got to do this, you got to get on with it. And especially for guys, you guys don't have time to feel sorry for yourselves, or because no one's going to come in and house you like the same way that you dudes do for us. So
yeah, nobody's going to save us. I learned that at a young age. Like nobody's coming to save you. So I'm a firm believer that God helps those who help themselves. I definitely think that whatever higher power you believe in, there's something that gives us an edge, because there's a lot of stuff that happens that we survive and that we overcome and then we get to the other side of that would have broke lesser people or would have destroyed lesser people. And not to say lesser like they're less of a person, but they're just not at the level that we're at, that we were able to endure that. They didn't have the adaptability, the durability, the emotional intelligence to understand like what's happening to you and what you might need to do to deal with that. And be able to, manage that to get through your day-to-day, activities, whether it's pursuing your dreams like we're doing, or working your 9 to 5 or whatever it is. Like we still have to exist. That's the crazy thing. We have to deal with all of these things we're talking about and still be, an upstanding, functioning citizen in some form or another. Whether you trapping or working legit, you got to pay rent or you got to pay a mortgage. You got to, pay your car note, or you buying a car flat out. And you still got to maintenance the car, put gas in it. You got to buy groceries. You got to buy clothes. You got to have toiletries. No matter what side of the spectrum you're on, we all need the same things. And then it's even deeper when you get into the luxury lifestyle, like what you were talking about, like all of those things, the things that we like to take for granted and the things that we like to spend our money on, like it's all tied together to the trade anyway. So it's but like you said, it's a rabbit hole. So I won't go down further, but I'm just letting you know, I'm picking up what you're dropping off 100%. So
yeah. Well, we don't talk about it enough, right? Like everyone is mad about, the rap industry, like glorifying this lifestyle, forgetting that it is a lifestyle that's based off of survival, and that does actually put a lot back into the community. And it's funny because, especially in like the recovery rap community, people are like, there's a lot of like weird, like double standards that happens. Like it's cool to talk about fentanyl if you're talking about surviving it, but it's not cool to talk about lean in the same way that like that was just a part of the day. Like, and so I don't know. I like that, that we can sit here and like, just shoot the shit over it, because it's very much a piece of the puzzle. And if it wasn't for some of the choices that I made when I was a kid, I wouldn't be here. You know what I mean?
No, seriously. I remember being in the trap. With a couple of my older homies when I was going through one of my depressive waves. And literally it's like maybe 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah. I'm on the east side of Chicago and I'm drinking lean mixed with tequila with Jose Cuervo. Like he just makes me a lean tequila cocktail. And I'm just like, fuck my life, whatever. And I'm just sitting here drinking it while they got all the, things going on that goes on in the trap. And I'm just in here like just numb. This ain't even like me. Like I've been in these spaces many times, but usually I'm in here functional. I'm doing something. There's something going on. I'm active. I'm alert. I'm aware. And here I'm just kind of like just existing. I'm just like a zombie And I think that's why he even gave me that concoction, because it was just like he wanted to stop me from, going through the mini psychosis that I was kind of going through due to what I was dealing with at that point in my life. So I just remember that's one of those memories that's kind of burned into my brain, because I was like, yo, that was the day that I knew like something's wrong, and I need to get some help, because if this becomes an everyday thing, then I'm going to have an even worse problem than what I currently have.
It's interesting because whoever gave you that concoction, like they might not have realized what the intention was behind it, but that probably saved your life. Like sometimes just getting somebody to sit down long enough is the thing that keeps them from like making that irrational decision once they leave that door, or they go get themselves killed, or they get into a vehicle and start driving, or whatever it looks like, because like maybe that wasn't his intention, maybe it was, but subconsciously I would say it probably is. There's many a times where I'm like, just come over here. You want to, throw the cap on the ground. No one needs that. Like, because if they get to the bottom of that bottle, at least I know that they were in my presence the whole time and they're not outside the house doing something that like is far worse. And so again, like those are all little things, that all these little pieces that when you grow up in that environment, you don't even realize that you're experiencing like PTSD or whatever. It's like we come up with all these little coping strategies to like, get ourselves and our people through to the next day. Yeah. Wow.
And once you figure it out, like once you find, if you're blessed enough to live long enough to figure it out, it's almost like that. I don't know if you ever seen that movie Limitless, but like they take the pill and it unlocks the 100% potential of your brain. Or like when people say they take acid and it opens up their third eye and they see through the dimension or something, like any type of story I've heard like that, that's what it felt like for me. But I didn't have to take a drug to have that mental explosion, that mind-blowing, mind-popping moment. It just happened once I really sat down and thought about everything that I had been through, everything that I had experienced, everything I had felt, everything I had thought, everything I had survived, and everything that I had actually avoided. Because I'm still to this day amazed that, one, not only that I'm alive, but two, that I'm not in jail, just because of a lot of things that I did and a lot of things I got involved with, a lot of people I was involved with. But it's like, this was God's plan. That's why I don't question it anymore, because I know if it was up to me, I wouldn't be sitting here being able to be on this amazing platform and having this amazing conversation with you. If it was up to me, I would be in a box buried 6 feet, or in some ashes scattered somewhere, or in a cell. If it was up to me and the things that, the cards I was dealt and how I played them. So, and especially, it's not just me. When you have other people, I think the streets attract so many of us because it's a sense of belonging. Like we want to belong to something, especially if we feel like something's missing. And sometimes you just don't even know what it is. The same way I had anxiety and didn't know what anxiety was, sometimes you're missing a piece and you just don't know what the piece of the puzzle is. For me, I just needed to attain self-love first, because once I learned how to actually love myself, I was like, yo, I can hold myself accountable. Because I don't want to be out here looking bad like this. I don't want to be out here tripping like this. I want to be out here losing my fucking mind all the time and, just responding to everything with violence, because I've seen so many people do that. It's so easy. It's so textbook to just turn on that switch, or for that switch to just flip organically on its own. And now I'm putting myself at risk of going to jail, or be in a situation where I lose my life or somebody else loses their life, all because I'm angry, or because I'm having a PTSD moment, a trauma response. And I have family members that are bipolar. I have a lot of different situations that I've been able to look at and analyze and compare to my own behavior. And I'm like, yo, I don't want to be like this. I want to be in control. I like being chill. I like being relaxed. I like being able to have introspective conversations. I like just smoking a blunt and watching the sunrise sometimes. Like I'm a simple person. Once I really got to learn myself and what I really enjoy, that made loving myself a lot easier too. But it takes work. It takes a lot of work to love yourself when you spend so many years hating yourself. And then there's like things in society that continue to reinforce why you should hate yourself.
Yeah, it's so funny. I never understood what the difference was. Like everyone was like, oh, you're self-destructive. That equals you hate yourself. And I'm like, I don't hate myself. I go get my nails done. I do this, I do that. I take myself out. I I go on trips all the time. I got a nice house, condo on the beach. What do you mean? I don't hate myself. Are you crazy? And then once I started getting to the other side of loving myself, it was like I wasn't navigating a day. the day is happening and I'm in it. I'm in the space. So like all of a sudden you're not like anticipating the next thing to happen. You're just like, it's hard for me to explain, to like put in words, but I distinctly remember like the moment. And it was actually kind of after an ego death, like you're talking about. So in the same way that some people go through psychosis, or they like, you know, like you said, like acid, they like trip out. So if you come off of everything, it can give you the same effect, right? And that's how people kind of get there, like through like heavy meditation and stuff. So if you strip all of that stuff out of your body, it can give you the same effect. So anyways, after I had experienced that, and then with this stupid cup of water that I was talking about, like take a cup of water, pour the cup of water, go outside, drink the cup of water. Like how many times a day you probably do that, but it was like the act of doing that gave me the time to start thinking about what I was doing, and I didn't have any other responsibility but this cup of water. You know, 5 minutes turned into 10 minutes, turned into gardening, turned into spending all day outside with absolutely no expectation, turned into, you know, me showing up for myself. And then I started realizing what the difference was when people say, oh, you know, you must hate yourself because you're like, you know, tearing up, expecting everything. Every time the phone rings, oh, this person did this, and the lady at the, you know, the pharmacist, and the person on the bus. And like, now when I'm near those people, I'm like, oh, that must be exhausting. Like that must be exhausting.
Man, it drained me. Like I was like, you know what? You just get to a point where you just don't want to live a certain way anymore. And that's what it was for me. So even though I wasn't like in an addiction or in a worse state that I could have been if I hadn't saw the writing on the wall, it still felt that way in a sense, because I was really fighting a demon within myself. And I'm like, I need to be able to hold myself accountable for the self-care that I'm not taking. Like I am doing certain things for myself. Like you said, you take yourself out, you get your nails done, you do this and do that. Yeah, I might go get my hair cut. I might go to a movie. I might go out to eat, but I'm not taking the time for myself to sometimes just let my phone be off, because a lot of people pull on me. I have a lot of people that I do respect and I do love, because I've been hurt by so many people. When the universe sends me good people, like King Hansel, for example, or like my best friend Duchess, who I see is in the comments here. I can see her picture right there. Like when I get certain people in my life, you know, I'm there for them. Like I'm very loyal. Like and I know sometimes people just need an ear. It might not even be like something that you physically need, but you just need somebody who might understand, or at least can try to understand. So that takes a lot too. And I always say you can't pour from an empty cup. And a lot of times when people pull on you the way people pull on me, it's draining. So that in and of itself is draining. But now I'm walking around, like you said, angry because the lady at the post office, you know, looked at me crazy, or this guy in the club stepped on my shoe, or, you know, we were having a session and my friend dropped the blunt, whatever it is that people get mad about, like all the little silly nuanced things that make us react that way, especially when you're somebody like me, because they'll tell you in the comments, I'll be wilding sometimes. But the fact that I can acknowledge that, I'm like, I can do something about it. I can make a change. And I just hope that other people watching this can just think about that. Sometimes we have to really analyze ourselves and find out what we're missing, because we might think that we're doing good by ourselves and we could be doing so much better. We're still doing ourselves a disservice.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah. And then self-care looks like not serving others for a moment, right? Like now my self-care is literally sitting on the fence line, like just looking at I have the privilege of, you know, owning horses. So but it's just that imagery. That imagery could look like anything, right? It could be trees with snow on it. It could be, but it's just the act of like not being available to people for just a few minutes, right? Yeah. Like just not being available. I'll hook you up with the Blissiplin's before we leave. There's another artist that came on here, Tim Steinreich, who's just amazing. He wrote this book on Blissiplin's, and it's like, you know, a couple of like small things you can do for yourself in the morning that like create that pattern of thought process to just like give yourself those moments. And it sounds like you're already doing it. And like, not to plug Blissiplin's like on top of your show, I just like, it dawned on me when you're talking, I was like, it's the same type of people, right? The same type of strategies.
Hey, I love the recommendation. I would love to I'm always looking for like different, like I said, different things to just give me a more perspective. Even if I'm already doing it, if I read that and it just helps me positively reinforce what I'm already doing, it's a win. So yeah, I definitely would still like to have that referral so I can check that out.
Yeah, I'll send it over to you. It's interesting because he takes all the things that we're saying and then created it like, I keep coming with intentional, which is not my favorite word, but it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, done. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, I don't even have to like figure it out for myself.
Just rock this out.
Yeah.
You hear that? Is my mic like super crazy right now? Hold on a second.
Not super crazy, no. was like slightly, but you sound good though.
I'm like, there's no way that we're going back and I got to clip this beautiful interview and have that happen for the second half of it. Like, that's not happening. Like, we need to take a second to sort that out, but I think I got it. Does it sound all right now?
Yeah, you good.
All right, cool. Yeah, amazing. Okay, so clearly you're onto something now. So you started to realize that, like, you have to take responsibility for your life, and then, bring us to this. I don't want to say a comeback moment because that's not what it is, but return to music for yourself, for the people, maybe more so for yourself.
Well, I think it was both. It was for the people and for me because. Honestly, all of it culminated with my mental health journey. If I'm being totally honest, like that's why I knew it was like what I said earlier, like the perfect storm has to line up for you sometimes. And I think that's exactly what happened for me. Like, at that point in my life, even though I wasn't recording music and putting it out and I wasn't doing shows or traveling like I'm doing now, I was still in the shadows, in the background, so to speak, in my private time, still honing my craft, like, because it was just a part of me. Like, I actually used to hate that. I used to get so angry that I couldn't stop rapping, even though I had stopped rapping technically.
Oh my gosh.
So that was frustrating for me too, dealing with that. But either way, it got to a point where I'm like, I feel like I'm in a good mental space now, or at least a much better mental space than I was when I took I made that decision to step away. I still have all the knowledge I had previously, and I've still learned more about the business, and I'm still learning more about the business actively all the time. I rationalized that with myself, and then I was also like, you know what, my finances now are like, I'm not like rich or anything, but I have way more money now than I had then, or probably at any other point in my life, especially making it legally. So I say, okay, bet. These things seem to align. I want to go back to doing music. I'm inspired again. Let's jump back out here. And the plan was always to come back, but I just didn't know when. It just took 7 years. And ironically, 7 is the number of completion. So that's why I have a line in one of my unreleased songs where I say it took 7 years to come to my completion. Same real nigga upgraded with better features. Like, and it was the same thing because I'm the same person I was then. I'm just a more refined and evolved version of him because I understand what he was going through and I understand what I'm dealing with now. And I'm taking the necessary precautions and steps to be able to navigate this music space the right way. Because if my mind and my mental wasn't in a better position, I would be reacting very differently to some of the adversities, we'll say, and some of the challenges that I have faced as an artist, especially in this return to the industry. Like, I've dealt with, weird people wanting to rap beef with me and, friends turning on me and like just out of the blue over the most minute miscommunications and just a lot of ill intent that I didn't know was there, or I didn't have any, or maybe I did, and maybe I just didn't want to realize it because I had so much love for these people. It could be, I think it's probably a little bit of both. Two things could be true at the same time. But yeah, I think I had to be in a better mental space to come back and do what I'm doing now, especially since it takes a lot. Like, it takes a lot of my time, a lot of my finances. I still work a day job. It's a career at this point that I've been doing for a long time. I do IT support for law firms, and I've been doing that for a long time. And that was something that just fell into my lap. But it pays me pretty decently, pays me well enough to where I can take a little bit off the side after I take care of all my responsibilities that I have for myself. And I can go ahead and invest in this thing that I love, that brings me happiness, that is an art form that I really am a part of the culture and I want to push forward and I want to keep alive. So that's why I just say all of that to say it was a perfect storm. Like, I couldn't have planned this. It lined up the way that it needed to. And I think that break, that hiatus, that 7-year gap for me was needed. Do I wish I could have still been rapping all 7 years? Yes. But mentally, I wasn't in the space, and just in my life, I wasn't in the place to really be able to give it the 100% that I'm giving it now. I just wasn't there. And I'm grateful that I went through that experience because I couldn't be, again, this version of me that's talking to you today, that's out here on the East Coast, basically back on tour again for 2026, went on tour all 2025. I get paid shows now. Hopefully one day all of them will be paid, but I get to sit down and have dope conversations with amazing platforms like this one. I didn't have these these resources or these opportunities back then. So now I come back, this refined version of myself, and I'm still crazy with the bars. Like I'm
Yeah.
literally just nuts with the rapping and the musicality. So it's like it all lines up. And I'm just grateful that God gave me the opportunity and let me live long enough to see this come to pass.
That's amazing. It's interesting because, once you get settled, you hear the rumors like, oh, that, there's not much inspiration happening, or like if people aren't out there hustling, or if people aren't out there like doing crazy shit or whatever, then like, what are they talking about? But there is like this beautiful thing that happens afterwards, and you can hear it in yours, you can hear it in everybody. Like once they've stopped, cleaned it up, cleaned themselves up, sat down for a minute, breathed, stressed, breathed more, you know what I mean? Slept, drank water, slept some more, came back. And then you hear this maturity in what everything is, right? Like, and so yeah, it's really neat. I noticed it. I went back a little bit, came back. Obviously, I haven't known you all that long, but and it's clear, and everything sounds like full and connected and correct. And like, yeah, so I'm super stoked that you're doing what you're doing, and that you did come back and you get to celebrate this culture with us. Because like I said at the beginning of the show, as a mom, I find it, I look at things differently, and I find it challenging sometimes. But when I see people like you out there doing things, I'm like, okay, maybe we're not so far off, maybe we're not so, so crazy. So maybe we are closer to reality than what I think. And so, yeah, I appreciate you. Tell me a little bit about what's happening tomorrow, and about like some of the, well, we could talk about Too Famous, we could talk about whatever, but yeah, tell me a little bit about like specifically.
Well, yeah, tomorrow specifically is going to be, like I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the show, it'll be King Handsome's birthday tomorrow. Actually, it'll be his birthday in like an hour and 20 minutes. But yeah, it's gonna be his birthday celebration, and he's calling it the Winter Ball. He got a whole tailored suit that he's gonna throw on and wear, and then change into his regular clothes when we do the performance. And we will be performing our new single, which is the first record that we both dropped. And the first record that we have together, period. First feature ever. And I'm really excited about it. We dropped it on the first of the year. So Too Famous was basically just a record that was born of us realizing from being on tour. Because we met on tour with Fuego Bass last March. And from the first day of the tour, he just gravitated to me. Him and AC2 Cole, which is another really dope artist from Chicago, but he's currently in Indiana, and we've been locked in ever since too. But they just kind of gravitated to me. I don't know what it was. It was just synchronicity, the universe. It was just meant to be, fate, destiny, whatever you want to call it. But it worked out, and I knew it meant something, because I don't really like meeting new people necessarily, other than when I have to network with them. Like I don't usually let people into my life and into my fold very easily. But it was just natural, organic with him. So we went from that moment and touring on 7 to 8 different cities with Fuego Bass last year, and being treated like we were celebrities, even though we haven't got a record deal yet. We're both still independent artists. We're both still funding our own thing and making money off of it and monetizing it in the ways that we can. And we're trying to grow the brand. So I found a kindred spirit in him, and he's one of the hardest working artists I've ever seen. Like I know a lot of dudes that really put a lot into this, but on the level that he does it, it opened up my mind. It was another one of those mind blowing moments. I'm like, bro, he really inspires me. So that's what Too Famous was born from. Is just we felt like we were finally. It feels like the culture is shifting in a way where the artists like me and him that have the messages that we have and create the art that we create, we can now become stars again, because we're already stars. We're stars to everyone who's ever encountered us, even when we're too humble to, admit it. But man, we can really have that higher level of success where we can feed our families and give other people opportunities and push this art to the next level, because the more resource we have, the further we can take it. I mean, right now I'm on a platform with you, and you're in Canada.
Yeah.
So you see the reach.
Listen, I'm getting emotional. So I knew King. I fucking knew it, because he came on here and we were talking about like he had a couple of streams, but he was happy that he had he figured out DistroKid, and then he came back on, and it was like, he was talking about like maybe DistroKid really was going to be paying like an actual bill, and then he started sending me music. Maybe I shouldn't talk about this, but he started sending me music like, you can't share this type of music, and I was like, oh shit, like, Oh shit. I mean, I've been in this position my whole life. My dad's a musician. We owned a studio in Vancouver forever. My grandpa's an old radio DJ from Toronto from back in the day. You know, we're setting up shop in Montego Bay. So we'll be able to, you know, invite you guys to come and record music down there once all that's finished.
Oh
Things,
yeah,
you know, so it's yeah. So like things are like things I know I know, you know. And I was just like, as it was coming in from him, I was like, holy shit, I'm actually watching this happen in real time. Like it
yeah,
makes me emotional because when you see people that work that hard and then you know that song is actually going to push them to like a next space, it's like it's a big deal. Such a big deal. Like yeah,
yeah. I'm so grateful to have that record with bro. I appreciate his friendship. I appreciate his talent. I appreciate his drive and just the inspiration in general because I already go really hard at this rap shit. Like I love this. I love this. Aside from the love I have for myself and God, and probably like my mom's and my grandma and even like my friends, like I love this more than anything. And this thing is precious. This thing of ours, this culture of ours. The more that I learned about the history of it over the years, I'm talking about in my off season when I wasn't doing this, and when I was actively chasing it as a teenager, I've given so much of my life and my mind and my study time. Like I have my 10,000 hours well over with this. I love this thing so much. And I'm like, when I meet people like King Handsome or I meet artists like Fuego Bass, who is the reason I even met King Handsome, they inspire me. And I'm like, yo, if you can inspire me, if you can inspire anybody, that's the highest human act. Nipsey Hussle said that. And he was a big inspiration to me too. Rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle. Like, and I feel like if you can inspire someone to try the next day, to pursue their dream, to get out of their depression, to seek help with something that they may need help with, like what you do with this platform and what I try to do with my music. If you can do that, that's the greatest thing that you can do for someone. Yeah. So I'm just honored, and I'm trying not to get emotional, honestly, just because like I really this is really important to me. Like this, I take this shit so seriously because I know what this did for me. Like having this and being able to do what I'm doing literally saved my life. If I had not started back at least working to get here, I don't think I would be here. You know, and I'm just grateful that this thing of ours is just spreading, and people are starting to really catch on to the good word. I'm getting more opportunities, and even with my platform with Shop Talk 7, you know, Review Fridays, because I've seen you even look at that a few times too. So I appreciate you checking that out.
Yes,
that's just something that fell in my lap. Those are my brothers. That's their platform. I stepped in just to help them in a time of need. And it turned into what you've seen. And I've been able to get King Handsome's music played in Chicago on the radio multiple times. I'm able to get artists from Africa play in Chicago and other artists from the New England area. And I've only expanded the awareness. And that was all from me traveling to these different places, like where I'm at now, and just having networking moments and really dope conversations and experiences with dope people like yourself. So like I said, I can't be anything but imaginably grateful for my situation. And it's just the beginning. We're not done. We're not done yet.
No.
So tomorrow's going to be lit. Tomorrow we're going to celebrate King Handsome. We're going to burn down the stage, and we're going to shoot a video for Too Famous this weekend in New York. So we're in Providence now, but we'll be driving to New York to do that video with his guy Chris, who actually shot a movie for another major artist that we are in the mix with named 38 Special. He's like from Rochester, New York. Upstate.
Oh, okay. Nice. Yeah, we got to sort out this like this border criminal record shit, because it's getting old. Like I can't come down there. You guys can't come. I don't know what's happening with you, but I'm like, I feel it's so annoying. Like we need to figure out that space, because every time something's happening down there, I'm like, yeah, sorry guys.
I know you can't make it because the border ain't gonna let you through. I get it. But look, no, I'm good. I could come to you. That's why I said I'm grateful, because I could have been in that same situation. So I get it. Like I'm just fortunate that, you know, the pendulum swung the other way for me. You know what I'm saying? And that's the main reason why I don't go back to doing it. I'd be so tempted sometimes, but it's just like, man, I made it out of some crazy situations that other people had to, like, you know, they had a consequence really behind it. So I'm like, man, let me not even test God and play with God. Let me go do something positive. Let me go find me something safe to go do.
Yeah, no, that's super smart, because you never know what's around the corner, right? It's like, there were so many things. There's so many things that could have happened that would have looked like real time. like for real. And then, out of nowhere, just some tiny little sprinkle of bullshit happened that really had not much to do with me. Like it was
Yeah.
just like, but if that's what came out of it, and I got healthy, happy kids, I got healthy, happy horses, I got Pinecase, I got guests like you, I got Calico who comes through by booking you guys all the goddamn time. Like life is good. I always say it, like more than anything else, I just sit back and I'm like, I love my little life. Like I love my little life. Like I just love my little life. Like I'm grateful. Grateful.
When I saw you with your horses, I knew you loved your life. I was like, this is
Yeah.
amazing. Just because I've been around horses a few times in my life. I've been graced to be in their presence. They like very majestic animals and just creatures in general. But um I've never got to see someone like that look so happy with their horses, like that I've gotten to know or talk to. This is like when I saw those pictures that you had of you and your horses, I was like, this is like the stuff you see in those movie scenes when people have horses and they're just like really connected and they're just like really happy. They're in a happy place, just having a ranch out here, having this land and having a stable with their horses, and they're just, running around with them. So, riding them, feeding them, taking care of them. I don't know. I just wanted to like cap on that for a second because it absolutely, I noticed that when I saw it, I was like, you look happy. And I noticed that I can see that in people now. Because once upon a time, it was all I saw was misery in people. I feel like just everybody just hates life. And maybe that was me projecting onto them. I don't know. But it did seem like a lot of people that I was around were miserable, especially on social media. Just around me at work, at school, in the streets, wherever I was at, it just seemed like people were just never happy, especially in Chicago. The weather is bipolar, so that affects our mood anyway, because it'll be 80 degrees and then it'll drop to 30 degrees. So it's just, but
it's actually, so it's called self-actualization, and like you've hit there. So it's like when you inspire people, but also are aware that you're also using your own medicine, so to speak, right? It's called self-actualization in psychology. And so and that's like the epitome, right? Like that's like pivotal life stuff, which is like in those pictures, which actually, okay, hold on. First of all, I'm pretty sure you might have inspired my horse's name, and I didn't put it together until after, but we'll get to that in a second. So
okay.
Yeah. So when people are like actually in that space and they're starting to give back in their service to others, and they're living what they preach, whether that's through music or any sort of arts and culture. It could be through God's work. It could be people who are out there scooping soup. Doesn't really matter, but like that's the pivotal thing. And as you were talking about where you're at in the music industry and working with King Handsome and people knowing that you're already famous, but you're humble enough to be like, thank you, but also know that like it's right there and it is actually happening because this is a response that you're having. Yeah, it's called self-actualization. And yeah, the picture with the horse, like that's real shit, because I ain't got no makeup on. I don't got my hair. Like we're just out there like really training these horses. But I bought that horse October, and from like an auction. It was just weaned from its mom. Like it was brand new. He's big now. He's been eating all the hay. But I woke up and I was like, Bishop's the name. He's he's studious and he's important, and he's someone that I can and he's someone like I can speak to, and he's like he's like the to the king, he's like the what's the word for it? Like the advisor,
Yeah,
like,
he's the advisor. Yep.
Yeah. And to me, that's what that feels like when I'm around him. Like because he keeps me level headed. Like, yeah, I say it's cheaper than heroin. Horses are cheaper than heroin. And like, yeah. And so, but anyways, I never like that name came up right when you were like popping, supporting, sharing. And I kept seeing your name coming through like quite a bit, and I was like, oh, that's a cool name. And so I'll just give you your flowers, because I totally was like, that's a wicked name for a horse. Yeah.
Hey, look, I appreciate it. Look, it's funny because I think I'm that way with a lot of my friends. Like I said, I try to give them the best advice that I can give. And like you said, so with the self-actualization thing, I never heard that term. So thank you for teaching me that. But I definitely am big on practicing what I preach, because a lot of times before I got to this stage, I could give great advice to my friends or other people, but I couldn't take my own advice. I don't know what that was. I don't know what type of delusion I was living in, but I know a lot of us seem to I've noticed that a lot of people go through that. So now I'm just glad that if I have gems that I can give in my interviews or in my music or just in general, interaction and conversation with me, I'm glad I can take those gems and apply them myself too. Like, yo, don't just tell your friends and your family and the masses, you need to feed that same energy and that same message into yourself. Or like you said with the I think it was what I want to call positive affirmations, like getting up in the morning and having those positive affirmations to keep yourself in that right mindset to get through the day. And you stay more positive, you stay more happy, you stay more relaxed, and you just, more appreciative for the moment, because you never know when this thing called life is going to be over. So you got to enjoy it and you got to make the most of it. And I want to leave a positive stamp. That's what I want my legacy to be. I want to have a positive stamp in the culture, in the lives of people I interacted with. And that's good enough for me,
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. I buried all my brothers, so I know exactly how quickly that can happen. And it's not even about being dramatic. It's like you could slip and hit your head, like life really.
No, literally.
Yeah.
Life is fragile. It's very fragile. My condolences. I didn't know that you buried all your brothers. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's why. Thank you. Yeah. Well, it's why we call it Pinecase. So like pine. So I wanted to like highlight people that use their pine needle gland to keep others out of pine caskets. Because my grandma used to joke all the time, like, "Oh, it's the only thing promised to you is like a pine casket or whatever." And my nickname growing up was Casey. So it's it's not as obvious to people, and I don't really care if it is, but yeah, that's what that's about. And it was because like every time I turn around, like I had everything together. My life was perfect. I had my career. I had a spouse who had a wonderful career. We had our big ass house and, our life that made everybody envious around us. And our kids had quads and hobbies and, we're took dance classes. And like, it just like it was amazing. And then one after the other, after the fucking other, my brothers just kept passing away for like different reasons. And I was just like, holy shit. Like, and I was one of the people that got everybody through to the other side, but myself. And I didn't realize it until it was too late. Right. And then I made a couple of poor choices and I needed to step back and take my own little time out. And it took me a couple years, but I figured it out pretty quickly. And then, as we started creating Pinecase, like, it was just like, oh, all these places are so quiet. There's no music. There's no this, there's no that. And that's like, out of respect to them who, some of them were trapping, some of them weren't, some of them, whatever. But music was definitely like what kept them level headed and what gave me probably more days with them. And if they had a system that supported them and met them where they were, they wouldn't be dead. One of them passed away in corrections care. Like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like, how does that even happen? Like, so yeah, it was just like, we're going to create a space where we like talk about dudes and we talk about their mental health and where they're at. And we're going to do it including music. So if we got to highlight artists to do that, I'm going to find people that they would like. We're going to do this. And then, Calico started finding like all the people, but yeah, that's where the core, that's the core Pinecase.
No, I appreciate you telling me that, because having that context just makes this whole platform even like that much more impactful. So again, just thank you for doing this, because us men, we need to have these safe spaces to be able to have these uncomfortable conversations. And I think that this self-reflection and even just having like you have the I think like the introspective way that you look at things, even with you being, man, it's crazy. And it's like in the best way. And we need more of that. And I think a lot of men, especially like ones that come from the background I come from, we need to see stuff like that. Because I grew up in a house full of like strong women. Like I grew up with my mom before she passed, my grandmother, my older sister. Like I'm the baby. Like my sister's 15 years. No, she's 12 years older than me. Feels like 15 sometimes, but whatever. she's older than me. I'm the little brother. So it's like I've just always had these strong, very like strong personality, intelligent, frustrating type of women in my life. So I was taught how to be respectful to a woman. I was taught how to, understand the nurturing nature of a woman. But obviously still, you got to go through your own experiences and learn it. So I went through my romantic seasons and my ups and downs. And I've also, like I said, I have a lot of women friends that are platonic that I still am there for them and they pull on me and things like that. So I just want to say all that to say that you doing what you're doing is like so it's just beautiful to me. And I'm just grateful to even be a part of it, to be on the show tonight. So again, just thank you. And thank you for naming your horse after me. That's dope. Nobody ever named a horse after me before. That's dope.
I was like, I don't know how I'm going to bring this up, but you came up with it so organically. And I was like, okay, if I don't say it, then it's going to be, I'm going to have to say it at some point.
See how it worked out? It just,
yeah.
I told you, stuff just be lining up. It just lines up. Man.
Yeah, it's a good segue. Yeah. So I'm going to, just so everybody that's in the comments, I just want to quickly take this opportunity to say thank you so much for you guys coming through. When we talk about Pinecase, so the artists, all they got to do is a little bit of arts and culture. And over here, I decided to throw myself through school. So coming up, I got an exam tomorrow, and then soon enough will be a certified social worker, which is super crazy.
Clap it up for that.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I got my community helper certificate, and then we got all of our like harm reduction stuff. We're going to be doing Decimate this year, and Calico is also doing all the harm reduction stuff. So you guys have any mental health questions, if you guys need to just call and just chat, if you guys need to know where you got to buy like Narcan or Naloxone, we're totally here for you. We do have a warm line. It's 250-289-3948. It's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's not always going to be myself or Calico. We have beautiful volunteers that will also be there, but they're also have their community helper certificate. And so they'll support you in whatever that you need. Let us know what town you're in so we can get the resources and we can text it over to you guys. So that way, when you leave the conversation, you know what to do next. I just thought I'd plug that really quick because that's what's, gotta let the people know.
Gotta spread the good word. I'm with you 100%.
Yeah, definitely. It has been like thank you so much.
Very welcome. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I was really looking forward to just having this conversation, especially since this is like a therapy session for me almost, because I haven't been to therapy in maybe 5 or 6 months. I took a little time off because I couldn't fit it into my schedule, and I thought I was in a pretty good place, but obviously I could pick it back up as soon as the drop of a thumb, just one phone call to my therapist. But this was good. This was really good for me, and especially since I'm out here, doing my thing. It's always good to have a nice, great mental reflection conversation. And we got to talk about music. We got to have some good moments, like the horse thing. I'm gonna live with that forever. Just so you know, that's staying right here. So thank you for that again.
What a wild! Well, you'll see the pictures, but yeah, for sure. I couldn't figure it out because I was like, it's such a great name, and then I was like, shoot, like that really did come from there, and then I was like, I don't, okay, but
it's my real name.
Yeah,
it's my real name. That's my real last name. Like people thought that was my nickname. I'm like, nah, that's like my blood name.
That's wild.
That's my mom's maiden name. Yeah, she never gave me my father's last name, so I have my mom's maiden name.
My kids have my name, and I have amazing dudes in my life, and I got a ring on my finger, but I don't know, I couldn't let go of my maiden name, so my kids got both.
I get it. The maiden name is powerful. It's a lot of power in that name. At least that's how I look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, now you can say to your friends that there is a like full purebred Percheron colt stud up in Canada that was named after you. Yeah.
Hey, look, I definitely need this clip when you clip that part.
Yeah, it's a mouthful, but it's just a big fucking horse. Like he'll be like 18 hands high of like pure muscle. Like he's just gonna be a big boy. But we got him in like a good natural horsemanship training program, and we're gonna teach him all the things so he can lie down and I can just sit on him. We won't ride with a bunch of tack and stuff like that. So yeah, but you'll watch him grow up. You're not going anywhere. Like you're not going.
No, I'm here.
Yeah,
no, I'm here. Yeah. I'm here. I'm here for the long haul, and I appreciate you so much. Thank you.
Wonderful. Cyphersick, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. It's been another, I was gonna say Tuesday, but it's a Thursday night because we rescheduled some stuff, and I will absolutely do that again and again and again for any time you want to come and hang out. The door is wide open. I appreciate you talking about music. I appreciate you talking about mental health. Thank you everyone for joining us in the comment section. Have so much fun tomorrow. Please give King Handsome just the biggest birthday hug from me. I really wish I could be there, but we're gonna have to meet some other time, and I'll keep you guys updated on the Jamaica spot because that's gonna be like the Pinecase, the Pinecasa. Like that's where I'm like, dude, if we gotta figure out like a drop spot, it's already bought, it's already paid for. Like we got that. We just got to get the studio over there. The dude, my cousin who gave us our song, actually, he's already down there, so he's gonna make sure.
The intro song.
Yeah. That's my
Okay.
cousin. Yeah, he wrote that. Yeah, and gave it to us for the project, which is amazing. So,
That's dope.
yeah.
I was definitely wondering who that artist was. That's dope. Okay. Salute to your
Yeah.
cousin there.
Yeah, New Brian. He's down in Montego Bay. Just amazing. I was like, we got to build like a proper studio down there and like make some shit happen. So.
Well, yeah. Once y'all do, just let us know. We outside.
Yeah.
There's nothing more than I love spinning the clouds and coming to some dope places that's not where I'm from and being with some dope people and having making more dope memories. I replace all the negative memories with more good memories. That's my goal. So.
Beautiful. Well, again, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. We take it as a cash donation. Like I said to you before, all the proceeds that come from this episode, the stars that are sent, and the monetization, yada, 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 that all goes into the scholarship fund, which goes to the kids that are using music as a tool for their mental health. We had our first recipient, DJ Lion. He went on to is doing, and will continue to do really great things. He went off, we got him a piece of equipment, and then he slayed a bunch of festivals. So we're super excited to be able to do that again this year. We do out of all of our applications in. I think we're sitting at like 300 maybe or 350. So that'll be, that'll be out there pretty soon when we call our next one. But yeah, that's where the money goes. Shit, I don't even know how to end this other than thank you so much. Take care. We love you. And yeah, the door is wide open, my guy. Like wide open.
I love y'all as well. Thank you so much. And anytime you want to invite me, I'm gonna make time for it. So this won't be my last time. We just getting started. We're gonna keep building this thing, and like I said, we locked in. So thank you so much. I appreciate y'all.
Sounds good. Take care to yourself, to your loved ones, and yeah, we'll chat soon. See you guys next Tuesday. Bye.
We stay strong. The further you take my rights away, I'ma run to it, refuse to hear my voice. Speak loud when I spit it, but you don't get it. You just wanna be a side critic. See somebody else showing hate in the side of the road with it. Now how would you feel standing on the sideline and watch the color of a nation deteriorate over time? The flag real high, but compassion 6 feet below. Now you're searching for that justice that decided to never show. Deny my place, I'm back with a trace. Keep up the pace, tight lace, game face. Get back in the race. Whatever they did could never be undone. Every dark night ends with the rising of the sun. Squandered every wealth that's built from the mud. Squandered every wealth that's built from the blood. Squandered every wealth that's built in chains. Stolen from the ancestors running through my veins.
With the strength of 1,000 lion and the strength of 1,000 giant, we stay strong. We stay strong. With the strength of 1,000 elephant and the strength of 1,000 tiger, we stay strong. We stay strong. We stay strong.
I can see, run to the light at the end of the tunnel winner.
We stay strong.
I can't breathe, we're gonna get oxygen without the justice system.
We stay strong.
And I know, gotta keep my head together.
We stay strong.
Don't doubt me, please don't doubt me.
We stay strong.
Tell me how can we be strong if we still shooting? Tell me how can we be strong if we still looting? Tell me how can we be strong if we still hating? Please tell me now, please.